Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure today on behalf of SASH to talk to Dr. Shira Olsen. Shira, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's lovely to have you. It really is. I am talking to Shira today because, Shira, you are kind enough to be presenting at our upcoming SASH conference in Seattle.
Yeah, so the title of my talk is Fanning the Flames of Desire, How to Treat Low Sexual Desire and Desire Discrepancy in Relationships. So I'm going to be discussing what sexual desire is and how to help our clients find it and embrace it within themselves. So there's many factors that can contribute to lower desire, and it varies considerably from person to person. So I'll be discussing how this interplay between, the biological and the psychological factors and the interpersonal, cultural, and contextual factors all come together to enhance and also inhibit one's sexual desire. So I'll also be reviewing some clinical interventions to, that can help couples, foster desire, and also discuss strategies for helping them, who may be helping these couples who might be negotiating desire discrepancy within the relationship.
So that's beautiful. Can you give our audience maybe just one example of both different types of struggle in this whole arena?
Yeah, so oftentimes, we will see, we'll see people who come in who are distressed about their desire. And, a lot of times it's either pathologized as, too low or too high. But most of the time with desire discrepancies, someone's coming in because there's one person in the relationship who has a lower desire than their partner. And it can be really distressing and really challenging for couples to navigate. And that's where we come in, right? So we come in to sort of help the couple understand, what does this mean by a lower desire than your partner? Why is this a problem? Perhaps this person has good reason that they have a lower desire. And we really need to help them explore that and understand that so they're not living with this type of distress.
I imagine a fairly large topic. Could you just give us one simple example of what a discrepancy, what one type of challenge might be?
Yeah, so it could be frequency, right? So there might be one person in a relationship who wants to have sexual activity more often than their partner, right? So we would consider that a discrepancy, right? So somebody is,
Yeah, no, well, that's clearly so. One person has a higher sex drive than the other. Beautiful, thank you. Shira, I mean, can you explain how do you think a better understanding of this? What's your overall view on how it can contribute to sexual health?
Well, because desire is such a common problem, and it causes significant conflict in couples. Right? It's actually among one of the most common issues that therapists tend to see, and it can be pretty challenging to treat, but there are solutions. So for some people, desire is, this really important part of who they are. And once it's gone, they don't really know how to find it again, or some people don't even think it's possible to kind of cultivate on their own. So we can help our clients, tap into their erotic selves and help them, ideally foster their own desire.
You just said something so powerful, that sexual desire can be so much a part of who someone is. And I'm in recovery. I'm very open about my journey. I'm in recovery from sex addiction. So I could still be one of your clients. I certainly have had many therapists help me since I entered recovery in 2004. And if I look back at my life, I would see my life as driven by sexual desire. But of course, it was coming from a very dark, very unhealthy place. And so to finally learn much more about exactly what you're talking about has enabled me to feel much more comfortable in my body, recognizing my understanding of desire, at least, and I'm looking forward to your presentation to learn ever more. Also to better understand myself as a result of that. So a wonderful topic. Thank you so much for doing this. Sure. Can you give 2 or 3 examples, if you can, of people that come to your presentation, which I have absolutely no doubt is going to be very interesting, because it's so important in this crazy world in which we live, with so many triggers and advertising and marketing and everything. Sex sells, let's not forget that. And so we so many people, I would suspect, feel as though they have to perform. But what would you like our people to take away from your presentation?
So I would really want people to understand that desire is treatable, right? Usually there are some instances where it can be really challenging and we might not be able to make headway. But for most cases, right, it's usually pretty treatable. Some of our interventions can really help. And couples who have discrepant desire are not likely going to just deal with it on their own, right? They're not going to be successful at it. Usually they need some type of guidance, right? Because there's going to be a lot of conflict, right? It's not just like they're struggling with a desire discrepancy. It's desire discrepancy that's now turned high conflict, and there's a lot of pain surrounding it. And it's really hard for them to work through it on their own. So a lot of what I'd want participants to take away is I want to help clinicians to help clients expand their view of desire, and help them see it more along the lines of a continuum, right? Of like, what is my sexual desire to me versus, trying to fit, somebody trying to take this label of like, I have high or low sexual desire. I really want people to start to see it as, perhaps I have a lower desire and here's how I can enhance my desire, right? Instead of, carrying this shame that they fit into one of these categories. Because I think that often, our society likes to label things, and it can be really confusing for clients, right? They, because they sort of will hear about it within these labels. And we really want to help just help them embrace their sexuality and their desire, without feeling like they have to fit into a specific category.
Shira, do you work with both ladies and gentlemen?
I do.
Beautiful. And would you find that the shame of failing to live up to a partner's expectations is equal across both sides, or would you say a man has more shame over this than the woman, or vice versa, or is it pretty equal in your experience?
Yeah, I would actually say it's fairly equal. I think that across, genders, there is different, cultural factors that, individuals will have to, will sort of get hit with, so for men, sometimes it can be, they have to have this very high desire, or else they might feel inferior or, less of a sexual being, to their partner. And I think often women sort of will get labeled as tending to have a lower sexual desire, which is not always true, right? But again, it's like, society has these, cultural factors that are imposed on us. That makes us kind of buy into this, right? And I think that those are also really harmful to our clients because, they carry with it all these assumptions that we're supposed, here's what our sexuality is supposed to be based on society's standards. When really, what we want to help clients understand is that, desire can be fed and built upon in a variety of ways. Clients just really need that guidance, as to how, so we really want to just be helping clients to get in touch with their own erotic desire, and how it can be experienced through different, physiological, cognitive, and emotional states.
Shira, it's so lovely. One of the benefits of my job sitting on this board and being a part of this organization is I get to talk about sex a lot, which sounds weird to say that, but it is to talk about healthy sex, healthy sexuality, and what it means. I look back at my life and the acute shame I felt about wanting to do things, being so frightened to talk to women, share my thoughts and desires, be open and a safe male, creating a safe enough space for women to feel safe to share their thoughts and feelings and desires, because we all have them. And of course, through my sex addiction, what I've done is I've taken all those fantasies and strong, unhealthy desires and taken them behind the back of partners in the past, because I've been too frightened to talk about it. So what you're doing is, in my opinion, critical and invaluable to this work. So thank you so much. Is there, sure, I mean, that's an amazing snapshot. It's going to be, I have to caveat my excitement by saying I may not even be allowed into your country in time for the presentation, because at the moment I'm not. We're not allowed to cross the pond unless I have an American passport, and I don't. So I might not even get to see you live. We're figuring out how to do things if this pandemic returns, etc. But for now, it's been an amazing pleasure to talk to you. Is there anything else? A final question for you might be: would you like to share with our audience anything of any particular note for you, your organization, your website, where you might be appearing elsewhere apart from our conference? Anything of that nature?
Yeah, so I'm at Pacific Behavioral Healthcare here just outside of Seattle, and me and my team in the coming future are going to be working on, certain articles that we're hoping to, submit on the topic of sexuality. We also are going to be offering some upcoming trainings on sexual health, including sexual desire. So that's sort of what's on the horizon for me.
Amazing, and they'll find all that on your website, presumably.
Absolutely, pacificbehavioralhealth.com.
Fantastic. Shira, it is such a pleasure. I hope I get to see you and meet you. Obviously, I sit on the board with your beloved husband, and he's an inspiration, and I tell you what. So I'd love to meet you. But if I can't, another year. But for now, my deepest thanks for giving up your time today to talk to me and to create this preview for our audience. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope to see you in Seattle. Take for now. God bless.